Hi guys, so this video is just to explain a little bit about the hot and healthy system and what it's about and how it works differently from typical diet plans and exercise programs that you see everywhere on the internet and in magazines these days. So the first thing I want to mention is about the perspective that we take with the hot and healthy system, which is one of balance. Now, balance is quite a fluffy term, and people often mistake it for being really, really mild and moderate and not willing to do anything too difficult or hard. And in this case, that's just not true. To do well with this program, the Hot and Healthy System, you're going to need to put in a level of hard work. But what we want to avoid is resorting to any extremes. But instead, rather than that, focus on a way in which three core elements can meet together for a long-term successful strategy to having the body you want. And that's physique changes, so body transformation, improving your health, and doing all of this in a way that complements, not compromises your lifestyle. If anything, all of the stuff we do in your program will go towards making you happier and actually helping you live the exact life you want instead of being counterproductive. Now, a lot of systems out there can get quick results. There are plenty of high volume training, very low carb, low calorie diets, but a lot of these systems have no concept of how to balance this around real life. And this subsequently, often in the aftermath, leads to people going back to their old ways and losing the body changes that they've made and all the progress. Or perhaps even worse, potentially, becoming a social hermit and, because of the new things they're doing, being unable to live life to the fullest. And I don't want any of this for you. I want you to get the results you want, but also live your life in the exact way that you see fit and be happy and healthy. So it's important we balance all three of these: your looks, your health, and your lifestyle. Essentially, the system is about making a real change and long-term changes that are brought about by new behaviors and new habits without any short-term fixes. So I'm not going to lie to you by giving you some jargon about your six-pack in 4 weeks or that changing your body for the long term is easy to do, because if you're watching this, you're going to likely know that that's just not true. So here's a list of here's sort of a contents list, as it were, of how we go about things in with this system. So everyone follows this pattern, as it were. We always start with an initial consultation and a follow-up, and then after that we make sure you have follow-up consultations every couple of weeks. And these are either on Skype or over the phone. From day one, you'll also get your nutrition program, your exercise program, and all the extras when necessary, such as lifestyle advice, supplementation programming, recipes and cooking tips, etc., etc. And then after this, there's all the ongoing support to make sure you reach your goals, which I'll explain about in a minute. So the first thing I want to discuss today is the consultation. Your program starts with two consultations: a comprehensive initial consultation and then your first follow-up. It's the first one that allows us to collaborate and gather all the information we need to start to draw a profile on you. You'll also need to fill in a fairly comprehensive questionnaire, which can be found on my website, like you can see in the video at the moment. You just click on that button and it directs you to the initial questionnaire page. It's a pretty long questionnaire, but please be careful. Take some time and fill it in carefully. The more information I have, the more I can help. During the consultation, we're going to discuss things such as whether you're currently on an exercise plan, as well as your training history and your exercise history, and your entire history essentially. We may also talk about your nutrition, what you're doing now, what you were doing before, your hormonal health, energy levels, sleep quality, gut health, any medical issues, and just your overall well-being. After I do a functional medicine analysis, which will take place after the first consultation, I'll explain to you what I think is happening and what we should do about it to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. After the first consultation, I'll have a pretty good idea about your body, your life, and your physiology and everything we need. But if necessary, I may recommend we run functional lab tests at this point, and I've put a list of pretty typical and common lab tests that we might consider running. And we might run these if we feel the need to investigate something which might be holding you back with you getting your goals. Now, this isn't always necessary by any means, and I'll never ever recommend testing just for the sake of testing. It's only when we need to dig a little deeper. And I want to say at this point, you might be wondering, why is all of this necessary? Why all the detail? Why all the testing? What for? Well, let's face it. With most weight loss or muscle building or any body transformation program of the like, if you've got any experience with doing them or you know people who have, it's often a bit hit and miss. So some people get fantastic results, whereas a lot of others barely change at all, despite their big efforts. Now, if this is you, we need to ask ourselves why your results aren't as good, and why your results aren't as good as what you might have hoped for, and then work out how to move forward from there. And the reality is, a lot of people have underlying biochemical imbalances which may explain things. So, for instance, if we test your thyroid function and find an imbalance, that might explain why you're not losing weight. Another example is the adrenal stress test, which can indicate how your body is responding to physical and psychological stress and just stress per se. So this can often help to inform us about the type of exercise you should be doing to create a healthier hormonal environment and, as a product of that, lose more body fat. The test that we're looking at in the video right now is actually very good, but as insofar as the results are all within ranges and the pattern looks healthy. But if you're experiencing what we may call adrenal fatigue, then us hammering you with high volume training sessions and low carbohydrate, low calorie diets would be the worst thing for you. But we wouldn't know this if we hadn't tested. We would know something's wrong, but we wouldn't know what was wrong. Another example is the CDSA, or Comprehensive Digestive Stool Analysis, which is a test of your gut health, really. And it can tell us whether or not there are any imbalances in the gut, perhaps some that you even aren't aware of because we don't always feel them. Imbalances which could be having a negative effect on your well-being and efforts to lose fat or gain muscle. For instance, an unhealthy imbalance in friendly and unfriendly bacteria can make it difficult to lose weight. And if we can get a picture of what's happening by running one of these tests, we can then know which steps to take and what to do to help. So some of these tests can come in really handy, especially for people who find it hard to make a change to their body and people who don't feel like they respond very well to dietary and exercise changes. There's often a reason for these things. So all the information that we get and piece together creates what I would want to call the bigger picture. And all this information, I've listed a few elements on this page here. The goals you're after, your history, where your body composition currently is, any test results, even your genetics, which we can run through 23andMe. All of this comes together and creates a crux that we will use to formulate the most specific and personalized program for you and your individual situation. Now, the will to work out and to train and to put in some effort in the gym, well, that's a prerequisite to be eligible for this program. This program isn't just a diet program like Weight Watchers or anything of the like, and we're going to need to put a level of priority on physical fitness. And that's not to say you need to be massively experienced or what one might call a meathead or advanced lifter. That there are certainly different training approaches suited to different people, and as with everything else, your exercise and training program will be designed for you specifically. But here's an example of a cardio type program that I might give to certain people. Here's an example of a more advanced giant set type 6, 12, 25 training that I might give to more of an advanced lifter. And then there's everything in between. So those are just two snapshots of what I might give you for exercise. But everything's individualized and ranges from gentle to moderate intensity cardio, circuit training, all the way up to those advanced lifting programs like you saw in the previous slide. And then there's nutrition, which will obviously play an important role as it does for health and for weight loss or muscle gain or whatever body changes you're looking for. And this is managed in a similar way to the training and exercise. It's completely individual. There's no way I can really explain all the ins and outs of exactly what we do in this short video, because I want to keep things fairly short and concise. But here's an example of some of the nutritional tools we might use to help you with your program. We'll always be focusing on things like high quality food, sufficient protein intake, enough fruits and vegetables, and focus on these foundational steps. And sometimes we might implement changes in a one at a time, step-by-step fashion, if that's more suited to you, whereas other people respond better to a complete overhaul and being thrown in at the deep end, as it were. Both can work, and this is largely dependent on your personality type. So yeah, we also offer far more prescriptive nutritional programs like the one you see on the page right now. This is based around macronutrients largely, and what we can do is use this template to customize exactly how many carbohydrates, calories, and protein and fats you should be eating on a daily basis. But not everyone needs to take things to such a level. This is far more of an advanced technique, and not everyone needs it. We can also use tools like MyFitnessPal and other apps of the like, which can come in very handy. So what we do really depends on where you currently are and what you're willing to do. Like I said before, there's no need to resort to extremes. So what happens next? Well, at this point, once your program is being put into action and you have your nutrition, your exercise, your lifestyle program, and everything we've spoken about, well, first things first, we need to wait to see how it plays out for the first few days and first few weeks. And as time goes on, we may need to tweak things here and there. And this is what the ongoing support is for. We have consultations scheduled every couple of weeks to make sure that things are on track and we can discuss problems and the like. And we'll make changes to your program when necessary. And this may be something as simple as adding some more vegetables into your diet, or taking out some carbohydrates from one of your meals, or it may be something as complicated as, well, not complicated, but it may be something as advanced and intense as changing your workouts every 2 weeks. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but this is very individual, and each person, you are completely different from the next person who might be doing this program. In between consultations, you can email me as much as you like with short questions, but you might want to consider asking some less personal questions, less specific questions on the Facebook group, because other people may be, having similar queries to you and may be wondering the same things. just speaking about the Facebook group for a second, if you're on Facebook, that is, I'd highly recommend you join the Hot and Healthy System support group, which is a secret page only open to other people who are being coached by me. And this is a place where you can ask questions, spark discussions, and share difficulties and share your goals when you reach them, and essentially interact with other people who are going through similar journeys to you. I find it pretty cool because you can end up learning from other people, and you know what, you'll also end up probably teaching them a thing or two as well. So it's pretty helpful for everyone. And it's also on the Facebook group that I'll be uploading, what you see at the bottom of this page, the Facebook group resources. I'll be uploading things like webinars and intermittent video question and answer sessions, so you can simply submit questions and I'll answer them in video format. And I'll also be uploading other things like nutritional resources and essentially, I'll upload things by popular demand. So feel free to ask me if there's anything you want from me and anything you think will make your life easier, and I'll do my best to help. Okay, so FAQs. Firstly, if you're watching this on the website, a lot of the finer details are covered actually on the website. So if you want to go through everything again and you're not on the website, just follow the link which is at the bottom of the screen right now. But moving on to the FAQs on this page, the first one, that's a legitimate concern a lot of people might have, especially a lot of beginners. New to training, new to fitness, new to health, not very well versed in what's good to eat or how to work out in the gym. Is the Hot and Healthy system suited to you? Yes, absolutely. Anyone of any level, any age, or whatever else can start their own program 100%, of course. If you remember, what I've been saying throughout this whole video is about the individual nature of everyone's program. So this means that whether or not you've never set foot in the gym and don't know the first thing about healthy nutrition, you can still do just as well as someone who's been training and eating for years. But someone who's been training and eating for years won't have the same goals as you. They'll be looking to take things to the next level and crank things up a notch. One thing I would point out though is that for beginners who really don't feel confident in the gym at all, so you really don't feel confident with exercise, it might be worth hiring a personal trainer for the first few weeks just to get you started on your program. And that's something we can discuss in your first consultation. I have quite a large network of personal trainer friends and colleagues worldwide, so I can probably put you in touch with someone in your area if you need it. And like I said, we can speak about this. If I'm having problems, need something changed, or simply want to talk with you, can I contact you between the fortnightly consultations? Yeah, absolutely. Like I've said before, you've got unlimited email access, and you can email me as much as you want. But please do try to keep the questions short and save the larger questions for the actual consultations. Especially seeing as we're going to be speaking every 2 weeks anyway. And for the sake of everyone else who's also doing this program, if you have a question that you think is more general and less specific to you, but it's more something that a lot of people might wonder, please just post the question on the Facebook page so I can answer it for everyone's sake. That leads on to the Facebook group issue. So last question, do I have to join the Facebook group? And the answer is absolutely not. Of course you don't. Some people are very private with this stuff and would rather embark upon a journey alone and not talk to people who they don't know, and that's absolutely fine. But most, a lot of people do find it very beneficial to talk to other people and to communicate with me on Facebook, and also quite good fun. Also bear in mind that absolutely none of your personal information or specific issues will ever be shared or spoken about on the Facebook page. the page is meant purely to talk about goals and obstacles and advice and general questions and just for general help and support. But it's never under any circumstances will your personal information or issues be discussed openly in front of other people. And everything that we talk about in your consultations remains strictly confidential. One last thing I want to say is that you do have at your disposal the option to add a personal training session with me to the beginning of your 12 weeks, just to kickstart things. This sort of just allows us to kickstart the process and for me to introduce you to the type of exercise that you'll be doing for the following weeks. So it can be helpful. For those who live outside London, if you don't live anywhere near London, the training session is not mandatory. It's just something that might help. And to conclude, if you're interested in the program, in the Hot and Healthy system, but you want to speak with me first, feel free. Just email me at info@fxmed.co.uk or call the office on 020-3633-3193. And we can have a free 15-minute consultation, which I always like to offer to start with, because I want to give you the opportunity to start feeling comfortable with me as a practitioner and coach before you start working with me, because I only think that's fair, and I think it's important that you know that you click with the person that you're going to be working with. So, okay, thanks for watching, and I'll hope to speak with you soon. Take care.